So we are going to demonstrate today how to put our dental photos both into the file and onto a document to present to the client after extractions or a dental prophy is completed. Nicole's going to help us. So we've had the girls today take the photos on our iPhone, and they've already taken both before and after of both sides of the mouth. Nicole's going to go ahead and just show us what we're going to do here.
So we're going to plug the iPhone into the computer. Typically, you'll feel the buzz of it plugging in. You kind of have to give it a second. I swipe open because what's probably going to happen is going to ask you if you need to trust the computer. You want to hit trust.
Glare. That's perfect.
Just because you want to be able to slide those photos over into the files and into our computer. So I usually give it a second because when it buzzes again, usually it'll bring up a second window that allows you to actually just open device to view files. Inside there, if you've ever worked an iPhone, you know you just double click on internal storage, the file folder, and then this will open up into our photos. So what we've asked the technicians to do is photograph the estimate prior to taking the photos so that we know who we're dealing with. So we know Buddy was taken here, so those are his befores. We're actually working on a different patient right now, so we're going to scroll down to the end. I spoke with the technician verbally, and she actually told me which photos belong to that patient, so it's actually these last ones here. So what I want to do is I want to put them on the server so that I can put them into a before and after photo and also input them into the file. So I'm going to go ahead and copy all of the relevant photos so I know that these 4 or 5 belong to that patient. So I'm going to make a copy. Then I have to go back and find my dental folder, which is, I usually go through recent places. Typically we use this folder a lot. It's going to come up right away. So I actually took the time this morning to make a folder for the patient that we're working with today, which is Abby. So I actually started the process, and what I did was I used the dental template. I copied it into her file and just personalized it for her. So what I did was I changed the date and I changed the name so that we have everything ready to go, so that when we get these photos, we can just simply put them into the file. All right, so I'm gonna paste her photos in here, and this will take just a second. The hardest part about these photos is sometimes they're unaltered, so we have to identify which is left and right. Typically the way I do that is you're going to want to look at the intubation tube. Whatever side the tongue's on, that'll help you orient if it's your left or right. So because the tongue's on the bottom and the tube's on the top, we know this is the right. Finding out before and after is pretty straightforward. You can typically tell what the before is. You'll see tartar and plaque buildup on all the teeth. And again, this is the right before. So now that I kind of have oriented myself on which photo is which, I like to open the template in one window to the left or right, whatever you prefer, and then I keep these photos open on the right so I can just more or less copy and paste them. I like to look at large icons so I can see what I'm dealing with. Actually, we might need to go a bit bigger, extra large. Okay, perfect. So we're taking a look here. We identify this as our right before photo. So I'm just going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it into my template here under right before, because we're doing both sides. Okay, so there's a little monkey wrench. Why can't that image be displayed? So sometimes it's going to take some troubleshooting, but let's try another photo just for simplicity's sake, just to make sure that it'll work for you this time. Copy, paste. Okay, perfect. So this one went through fine, and 99% of the time this is what will happen. Sometimes it's just a matter of the iPhone needing reformatting, and you can open it in Paint or whatever you need to do. Sometimes it'll go in like this, which you think it might be difficult. There's 2 ways to do it. You can use this to turn it like that. Another thing, if that's not working for you, you can hit Reset Graphic, and for whatever reason, I can't explain it, it will often orient the photos to the correct way that they were taken. So what we're going to do then is just continue on and take this is the left after, so I'm going to copy that one over, paste. Again, we'll try the Reset Graphic and see if it works. So it didn't work in this case, so what we're going to have to do is use our little arrow to turn it around and orient it correctly so that it's now sitting with the tongue on the bottom and the intubation tube on the top. So for simplicity's sake, now that I've shown you 2, I'm just going to show you how to save and drop it into the file so that you're not watching the same thing 4 times. So because I've already created this template inside Abby's folder over here, I can simply just save it as I'm working on it, so that if I get distracted or something happens, I can just hit save, and it's going to save right on the server, so I don't have to worry about that. I know it's been contained. And as you know, when you actually save something on the server, it will take it out of the file that you're working with, and because it's been saved into Avamark. So sometimes what I like to do is I'll actually select the photos that I want to put in the Avamark file. Let's see here, go up in this, and I'll actually make copies of them, so that it stays in the folder, so I can, you know, historically go back and take a look. And I can also copy them into Avamark without worrying about any duplicates floating around. So now we need to go into Abby's file. So we'll just find her in the surgery list. And then what I do is I use the code DENFO. Saves a lot of time just putting those codes in. It'll automatically come up, and then that's where you're going to attach your before and after photos. So we just follow the prompts as they come up. Again, back to recent places. This is always going to take us back to the folder we need to be in. And what makes this easy is I know all my copies are the ones that need to go in the full file. So I hit copy, okay, and just kind of go through and get them all in, so that when the doctor discharges the patient at the end of the night, they can just open Avamark and without having to pull out the handout that we're going to send them home with. So that step is done. That's now in the file for the doctor at the end of the night. And the last step you need to do, and we're not going to go all the way through it, but we will need to print this for the client. So you're going to go File, Print, and the first thing you want to make sure of is that we're using the correct printer. So you're going to go down to 8620 Network. That printer can be used with glossy paper, and it also will print in color, which is what we're looking for. So we'll double check printer properties. I usually go on best, just so that we're getting the best quality picture. I check the paper and quality and make sure that the color is selected, so that we know that we're going to get that color photo. And when we're ready to go, we're going to load the paper glossy side down into the tray of the printer in the call center, and then simply hit print. Once it's printed, you can go ahead and put that in their dental kit that they go home with at the end of the night, and you're pretty much done.
Thank you, Nicole. That was awesome.